1. Xiefeng, May 13, 2008. Translation edited by Jiejing. Tao is the consciousness of the greatest creator, the driving force behind the movement and transformation of all things in the universe. It is the lifeblood of the universe, it is nature, and the synthesis of all laws. Tao possesses 8 characteristics: holographic order, eternal reliability, instantaneous sensitivity and adaptability, transcendence over time and space with no interior or exterior, spirituality, justice, non-obstruction, and illusory yet actual existence. The first characteristic of Tao, holographic order. The universe is holographic, everything is interconnected, and the universe is a living entity. The activity of an ant is related to an elephant drinking water. The fluttering of a butterfly's wings in Alaska is connected to a storm at the Cape of Good Hope. Today's cough is linked to an insect swallowed 10 years ago. The current back pain is related to a mouse killed 500 years ago. The suffering of a grandson today is connected to the mountain digging activities of ancestors 3,000 years ago. The rolling of a stone on the moon is linked to an earthquake somewhere on Earth. An explosion on a distant planet thousands of light years away is related to someone sneezing on Earth. Parents' words and actions are connected to the growth of their children. A mosquito bite on the toe is directly linked to getting angry. A lover's betrayal is related to the other's suicide. A statement made by Jesus or Buddha 2,000 years ago is linked to someone's behavior today. Darwin's theory of evolution is connected to people not believing in the greatest creator. A statement made by oneself 10 years ago is related to today's unexpected encounters. Everything is connected, no matter how distant. All events are related, no matter how long ago. Hearts resonate, whether in heaven or on earth. Spirits communicate, regardless of whether they belong to insects, plants, animals, humans, or ghosts. This is the holographic order. In the midst of complexity and constant change, everything falls into place with precision and order. Every word, action, movement, thought, and intention leaves an imprint in the universe. When the time is ripe, there will be consequences. Feeling helpless, unable to understand, unable to see the principles of good deeds leading to good outcomes and evil deeds leading to bad outcomes, one feels anxious and confused, not knowing the cause. Life seems uncertain. Everything appears random and inexplicable, because the characteristic of Tao is holographic order. Boundless and infinite, without tactics or fixed modes, no name or identity, no form or shadow, yet its power is immense, rewarding and punishing at all times. Invisible, intangible, and inaudible, yet it responds like a shadow that follows form. It can't be stolen, hidden, lifted, or moved. It's elusive and empty, yet it can cause earthquakes, tsunamis, landslides, ground splits, and thunderous roars. Where there's movement, it moves. Where there's stillness, it's still. Where there's life, lives. Where there's death, it dies. Yet where there's movement, it's still. Where there's stillness, it moves. Where there's life, it dies. Where there's death, it lives. It's profound and inscrutable. Hard to fathom its wonder, because the nature of Tao is holographic order. Tao that can be spoken of is not the eternal Tao. This is because Tao possesses the characteristic of holography. Holography here does not refer to chaos. Chaos is disordered, while holography is orderly. Tao forms an invisible divine net, which, as the saying goes, divine punishments, though slow, are always sure, with big meshes yet letting nothing slip through. All things, all phenomena, are within this divine net. They cannot escape it, hide from it, erase it, or extinguish it. Whether they are gods, Buddhas, demons, celestials, saints, ghosts, or monsters, they all operate within this divine net and cannot escape it, cannot escape from holography. As I expand, so does Tao. As I diminish, so does Tao. As I possess, so does Tao. As I lack, so does Tao. As I become complex, so does Tao. As I become simple, so does Tao. Holography is not chaos. Within holography, there are 36 8-diagram arrays, 36 dimensional spaces, 20 parallel worlds, and 64 basic factors. The permutations, combinations, and error corrections of these 64 basic factors intertwine to form astronomical numbers, which are difficult for human intelligence to understand and reach. Therefore, each person plays their own game, walks their own path. You are you. You can never become another person. Even if there is a 99.99% similarity, that 0.01% is enough to make a world of difference, as distant as 1,000 miles. Do you completely understand? If you do, it proves that you don't understand the holography of Tao. Only by transforming oneself into nothingness, within the void, faint, vague, dim, obscure, can one glimpse a bit of true insight. First, dissolve oneself into holography, then one can understand the characteristic of Tao is holographic. Laozi said, "Those who are skilled in the way of Tao are subtle, mysterious, profound, and penetrating, so deep that they cannot be understood." Why? Because Tao possesses the characteristic of holography. Knowing that Tao has the characteristic of holography and understanding the holographic characteristic of Tao hold profound and significant value. When we can face the collapse of Mount Tai without blinking an eye or skipping a beat, smile slightly with a knife at our throat, remain calm and composed in the face of death, stay unruffled in the face of family ruin and personal loss, and continue to be calm and relaxed even if the next second brings about earth-shattering changes, only then can we truly understand the holographic nature and principles of Tao. In reality, at this moment, one has already become a celestial being. The sky is intensely blue, death ceases to exist, beauty surrounds us, profound experiences abound, all paths are open, skills are effortlessly wielded, and there is nothing to do but enjoy leisure and play. Understanding the holographic characteristic of Tao and following its path leads to escaping the kingdom of necessity and entering the kingdom of freedom. 雪峰传道2. Xiefeng Preaching Tao 2. Xiefeng, May 15, 2008. Translation edited by Jiejing. Tao is the consciousness of the greatest creator, the driving force behind the movement and transformation of all things in the universe. It is the lifeblood of the universe, it is nature, and the synthesis of all laws. Tao possesses 8 characteristics: holographic order, eternal reliability, instantaneous sensitivity and adaptability, transcendence over time and space with no interior or exterior, spirituality, justice, non-obstruction, and illusory yet actual existence. The second characteristic of Tao, eternal reliability. Tao is the synthesis of all laws. Within a certain time and space, these laws are immutable, enduring, and dependable. Every morning, the red sun rises from the east. The seasons change timely throughout the year. Seeds sown in suitable soil will inevitably sprout, grow, and eventually bloom and bear fruit. Rivers naturally flow downstream. It has been like this for thousands of years. Eggs are hatched in 21 days, yielding chicks. After giving birth, mother's milk will surely follow. Tides ebb and flow, flowers bloom and wither, flocks of geese migrate southward, the moon waxes and wanes. Everything follows a pattern. Everything can be trusted and relied upon. This is the characteristic of Tao, eternal reliability. The sum of the interior angles of a triangle is 180 degrees. Pi is always 3.1415926. Energy equals mass times the speed of light squared. Velocity multiplied by time equals distance traveled. To escape the solar system, an object must reach or exceed a velocity of 16.7 kilometers per second. Oxygen and iron embrace to become iron oxide. Halley's Comet appears once every 76 years. The moon continually orbits the Earth. It takes a little over 365 days for the Earth to orbit the Sun once. When full, hunger disappears. With the onset of puberty, there arises a sexual impulse. When a light is turned on, darkness is dispelled. Collision between positive and negative cloud layers can trigger thunder and lightning. Everything is so precise, orderly, and systematic. This is determined by the eternal reliability of Tao. Swallowing a bottle of sleeping pills will definitely result in never waking up again. Consuming croton seeds will surely cause diarrhea. Drinking a bowl of concentrated arsenic water will undoubtedly result in immediate death. Placing one's hand in a blazing fire will certainly result in burnt skin and flesh. Planting potatoes will definitely not yield sweet potatoes. It is unquestionable that those who are near vermilion get stained red. and those who are near ink get stained black. 1. Will surely not pick bananas from an apple tree. Constructing skyscrapers on quicksand is surely impossible. Dialing the signal 0086 will definitely connect you to China. Cutting a blade on the back of the hand will surely draw blood. Flying in synchronous orbit with the Earth's rotation will always be either morning or another time. Hitting oneself on the head with a stone will surely feel painful. Why can we be so sure? Because this is determined by the eternal reliability characteristic of Tao. Understanding this characteristic of Tao holds profound significance. Not only can it effectively and fully utilize laws to serve oneself, avoiding wastage of personal energy and mitigating risks, but more importantly, it enables recognition of the inevitability of change in all things. Consequently, one can confidently carry out current tasks without hesitation or doubt, steadfastly progressing towards their goals. For example, if we aim to reach the thousand-year world, as long as our consciousness resonates with the beings of the thousand-year world, and we adopt their way of life and existence, there is no doubt that we will surely arrive there. We will have no doubts about this. Why? Because it is determined by the eternal reliability of Tao. Pursuing the sun will certainly escape darkness. Aspire to the thousand-year world and persistently practice and cultivate towards it. Surely, we will reach the thousand-year world. Doubt arises from uncertainty, and uncertainty stems from not recognizing the eternal reliability characteristic of Tao. Once one acknowledges this aspect of Tao, it becomes as certain as knowing that placing fermented dough in a steamer for about 15 minutes will undoubtedly yield edible steamed buns. Good deeds bring good rewards, evil deeds bring evil consequences. This is the eternal characteristic of Tao. It is reliable. Those who commit numerous evil deeds will surely descend into hell, while those who fulfill virtuous deeds will inevitably become celestial beings or Buddhas and ascend to heaven. This is an iron rule, determined by the eternal reliability characteristic of Tao, not subject to the will of any individual. If we do good deeds, there's no need to anxiously await results. Why be in a rush? When the time comes, the results will naturally manifest. Small changes gradually emerge, while big changes happen in an instant. Through daily cultivation, progress may not be visible, but suddenly one day, one has already become a celestial being. A rope rubbing against a wooden board will cut into it, and water dripping onto a stone will wear it down. Channels form when water flows. The pedicels of ripe melons fall. These are enduring laws, reliable. What is there to doubt? There are no random events in the universe. Everything is the inevitable result of causes and conditions. There are no coincidences or accidents. Everything follows a predetermined pattern. This isn't something made up by Xiefeng. It is determined by the eternal reliability characteristic of Tao. The type of consciousness one possesses corresponds to the form of existence one embodies, and the manner of thinking determines one's way of life. This is neither superstition nor speculation, but rather a summary and reflection of the patterns life presents across different times and spaces. Having understood the eternal reliability characteristic of Tao, one should steadfastly journey and cultivate towards Celestial Islands continent. As long as persistence is maintained, one will undoubtedly reach Celestial Islands continent. This endeavor is perpetually reliable, and Tao does not deceive people. 雪峰传道3. Xiefeng Preaching Tao 3. Xiefeng, May 17, 2008. Translation edited by Jiejing. Tao is the consciousness of the greatest creator, the driving force behind the movement and transformation of all things in the universe. It is the lifeblood of the universe, it is nature, and the synthesis of all laws. Tao possesses 8 characteristics: holographic order, eternal reliability, instantaneous sensitivity and adaptability, transcendence over time and space with no interior or exterior, justice, immediacy, and illusory yet actual existence. The third characteristic of Tao: instantaneous sensitivity and adaptability. Tao is the most subtle and sensitive sensor in the universe. It instantaneously senses, records, and responds to the slightest changes at any time, place, or thing, without the slightest delay or negligence. Whether it's the changes in a galaxy or the changes in a fundamental particle, whether it's actions taken by humans or the fleeting thoughts in their minds, Tao accurately senses, records, and responds without missing a single microsecond. You may deceive people and other living beings, but you cannot deceive Tao, for Tao resides within us. In every drop of our blood, in every cell, in every nerve pathway, in every breath, in every heartbeat, and in every thought, Tao is present, sensing, and responding. Therefore, the more honest a person is, the more they align with the characteristics of Tao. From this, we realize that any deception ultimately deceives not others or other beings, but oneself. Inner prayers, acts of repentance, wishes, and blessings all carry weight, value, and significance. Any disaster, whether it's a slip or a fall, a car accident, or an earthquake, can be prevented and avoided. As the ancient sages said, a single thought can move ghosts and gods. A single action can change heaven and earth. The difference between calamity and fortune, sorrow and joy, lies in the slightest difference in thought. Whether a camel will be crushed depends on the last straw, and which way the balance tips depends on the final gram. This is because Tao possesses the characteristic of instantaneous sensitivity. Tao is not dead, but alive. It possesses eternal reliability, yet it is not a rigid and unchanging machine. It is adaptable and can generate myriad phenomena. Wherever there is space, life, or changes, there are Tao's methods. On a macroscopic level, Tao's principles are constant, while on a microscopic level, they are constantly changing, arising and ceasing in each moment. On a macroscopic scale, there are stages of birth, abiding, decay, and emptiness, while on a microscopic scale, these stages can be reversed. For every person, every day, there are countless thoughts and ideas, and in response, Tao generates various transformations. If you remain unchanged, Tao remains unchanged. If you change, Tao changes accordingly. With your 10,000 changes, Tao produces 10,000 corresponding transformations. This is the instantaneous sensitivity and adaptability of Tao, always remaining unchanging amidst change, changing amidst the unchanging, eternally one yet endlessly unpredictable and mysterious. This is why it is said that the Tao that can be spoken is not the eternal Tao. Preaching. 爱是一种状态. Love is a state of being. 写fing. From ancient times, I love you has been a beautiful song which has been unchanged throughout the ages. People become fascinated, infatuated, and enjoyed crazy bliss when hearing, I love you. Today, I finally know that I love you is a hallucination, the unpredictable clouds, a colorful bubble, and an anesthetic. Love is a state, like the constantly shining sun, the blooming peony, the roaring river, and the bright stars twinkling in the night sky with all their luster. Love has no specific target, it is wordless, but if there are specific targets, it is not love. The sun shines down constantly on everything, but if there is a target, it is not the sun, but a searchlight, a torch, or a spotlight. Love is like the shining sun and the blooming flowers. It is a state. Neither the sun nor the flowers ever say, I love you. No matter whether anyone is watching and no matter whether the bees and butterflies come to gather nectar, the flowers always bloom on time. Love always brings warmth, auspiciousness, harmony, goodness, happiness, and positive energy, and is infinitely fascinating to all living beings. Love never shows coldness, madness, ugliness, worry, suffering, negative energy, or desperation. Love cannot hurt anyone. If love leads to pain, grief, suffering, hatred, disappointment, or desperation, it cannot be real love. Love can only be felt by love. It cannot be demanded or taken by force, nor by money, status, fame, or beauty. Love is totally free, it is priceless, needs nothing in return, and is unconditional, with neither responsibilities, obligations, nor other requirements. Love treats everyone the same, beggars and billionaires, commoners and royalty. Love has no morals. Love has no system of values. Love lives in truth, kindness, beauty, and right, as well as in falseness, evil, ugliness, and wrong. The differences in the levels of love between different living beings are in the contents of love's energy. The more love a living being has, the higher its level is. The less love it has, the lower its level is. This is the same as the differences of kerosene lamps, electric lamps, and the sun. They are shining different lights. The kerosene lamp can only illuminate one room in a house, and the electric lamp can illuminate a yard, but the sun can illuminate a much larger area. The light of the Buddha can spread everywhere, but the light of human beings can only spread in limited regions. This is the difference between Buddhas and people. So, we understand that those who love everything and live for the benefit of all living beings are Buddhas. Those who only love and think about themselves are devils. Those who love and live for only one person or several people are animals. And those who only love and live for a group of people are human beings. According to this, we know that those who selfishly love themselves are the offsprings of devils. Those who only love one person or thing, such as within monogamous marriage, are the lowest level of animals. Those who love their families are the lowest level of human beings. And those who love their own nations, religions, organizations, and political parties are human beings. But those who live for the benefit of all living beings regardless of their own interests are more than human beings. They are bodhisattvas, angels, and Buddhas. Human beings are not worthy of speaking the word love. Love is the patent of bodhisattvas, angels, and Buddhas. Love is profaned when one person says, "I love you," to another. Love is a non-material existence. Only those who have love for themselves can feel love. You will never feel love if you do not have love within yourself. Only if you have eyes can you see the eyes of other lives. Only if you are not colorblind can you see how colorful the world is. Those people with the greatest love will become super celestial beings. The greatest love is that you, yourself, completely become love. The greatest creator is love. Only by making ourselves become love can we enter the secret garden of the greatest creator, the celestial island continent of the Elysium world. 天堂在哪里? Where is heaven? 解放. Translated by Treasure and edited by Care. Heaven, or the kingdom of heaven, is the general term for the 1,000-year world, the 10,000-year world, and the Elysium celestial islands continent. Heaven is where those lives' non-material structures are more perfect than human ones. The greatest characteristic of heaven is the amount of freedom of life. Freedom from the issues of food, clothing, shelter, transportation, disease, war, and sudden disaster. The 1,000-year world is a celestial body 960 light years away from the Earth. 10 times the size of the Earth, it is currently inhabited by approximately 200 million people. As the basic lifespans of celestial beings on this planet are about 1,000 Earth years, it is called the 1,000-year world. More details are available in Chapter 14 of The 1,000-Year World, the non-material world. The 10,000-year world is a beautiful celestial body located 3,480 light years from the Earth. It is 16 times bigger than the Earth and is equidistant from 16 suns which surround it. About 100 million celestial beings live there with similar basic characteristics as the land celestial beings described in Taoism. They enjoy lifespans of about 35,000 Earth years, and it is thusly called the 10,000-year world. More details are available in Chapter 14 of The 10,000-Year World, the non-material world. The Elysium world is the general term for the Paradise universe. We inhabit a small place that is called the Earth universe. The Paradise universe is called this in relation to other universes. The structure of the Paradise universe is a Taiji ellipsoid which is called a low rotary galaxy. Low rotary galaxies contain 3,000 rotary river galaxies which each contain 3,000 Milky Way-type galaxies, and each Milky Way-type system contains 3,000 solar systems. In other words, the Elysium world is composed of 3,000 macro worlds, 9 million medium worlds, and 27 billion small worlds like the Earth. The Elysium world is a non-material existence. If the world on which we live were the front side of a sheet of paper, then the Elysium world would be the reverse side and we would never have access to it unless we could pass through it and enter the back. The place where humans live is also where the Elysium world exists, for the Earth is within the realm of the Elysium world. The Elysium world has 10 continents. The Lotus continent, the Borneo continent, the Kasayapa continent, the Ingwu continent, the Amida Buddha continent, the Celestial Islands continent, the Three Worlds, the Two-Way continent, the Moon Temple continent, the Gods continent, the Supreme Authentic Wisdom continent. The Celestial Islands continent is one of the continents of the Elysium world. These 10 continents are also called the Pure Land or the Buddha Land. Refer to the Elysium word within the non-material world. The place to which Life Changyuan guides Changyuan celestials toward is the Elysium Celestial Islands continent. It has 80 billion islands. Apart from the 30 billion islands that have been homesteaded by celestial beings, the remaining 50 billion islands are currently uninhabited. The celestial beings in the Elysium Celestial Islands continent are called super celestial beings, or Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. When people are asked where heaven and hell are, many of them answer that heaven and hell are in people's hearts. This is only half true because the idea is that the whole of the universe depends on the mind and all rules depend on cognition. The environment is created and generated by the mind, and everyone's closest friends and dearest relatives are in their minds, are only half true. Heaven and hell would still exist if people did not think about them, just as people's relatives who live far away would not disappear if they did, and they would still exist even if they were not thought about or even forgotten. Absolute idealism can confuse people. Actually, it is easy to go to heaven, but it is extremely difficult to break our obsession. Many secrets seem very mysterious, but once they are pierced, they become clear and simple. 程序在运行. The program is running. 写法. There is a saying, fishes are in the water, and humans are in the Tao. All things in the universe are running in the Tao. If we have difficulty understanding the elusive Tao, let me make it simple. We can also call it program. So the above saying could be, fishes are in the water and humans are in the program. And all things in the universe are running in the program. What is program? In Chinese, program is 程序. 程 means the rule, law, pattern, and equation. 序 means sequence and order. Program, 程序, means the order of formation, development, change, and evolution of a thing according to established rules. The computer we use is the best example of program. We can somehow say that a computer is a program. To use a computer, we need to follow programs. Whoever is good at programming is a computer expert. Hackers are computer experts who can break, interrupt, and change computer programs. Computer programs are designed by human beings, while the program of the universe is designed by the greatest creator. The seasonal order of spring, summer, autumn, and winter in some areas of the earth is a program. The order of seasons is strictly changing according to the program. Spring comes after winter, and winter comes after autumn. They have been in that order for thousands of years. The process of a human body changes in the order of a fetus, baby, toddler, child, teenager, adult, and senior is also an established program. Human beings have to go through this process, which is out of their control. The germination, growth, flowering, fruiting, and withering of a plant is also a program. The law of causality, reap what you sow, is also an established program. You will not reap banana if you sow melon, and you will not reap cherry if you sow bean. What goes around comes around. The treacherous are cheated by the treacherous, and the honest are appreciated by the honest. If you pursue Buddhahood, you attain Buddhahood, and if you admire the beast, you acquire the nature of the beast. If you do not give freedom to others, you will not get freedom yourself. If you want to control others, you will be controlled. Furtiveness and deceit will make you a ghost and lead you to hell, while integrity and good merits will make you a celestial and lead you to heaven. This is also a program. When a man reaches a certain age, facial, armpit, and pubic hair start to grow. When a woman reaches a certain age, she starts to have menses. When a child is born, the mother begins to lactate. When a woman reaches menopause, she starts to have fewer and fewer menses until they stop. It is a biological program. The traditional family is also a program. When one gets married, he or she has to live according to the family program, which is beyond their control. Countries are programs. When one becomes a citizen of a country, he or she must involuntarily follow the country's program. If there is no external force, things will run around and around according to the rules of the program. Life will reincarnate according to the set program. To avoid constraints of the program, there must be an external force, without which the development of things will not change the track. It is just like a man is not able to make his feet leave the ground by dragging his hair. The external force is not necessarily a mechanical force. An accident, a phenomenon, a book, a story, and a sentence, even an insect, a hairstyle, a blade of grass, or an action could become the force. As long as it is able to change the existing program, no matter how small the changes are, it is an external force. The teachings of Jesus Christ, Buddha Sakyamuni, Prophet Muhammad, and Confucius are very strong external forces. Prologue to Humanity and Human Life. Xiefeng. Cheated, bullied, blackmailed, oppressed, and humiliated by others? Have you felt frustrated and desperate at life and life? Do you know why all this should happen? Let me tell you, all this is the work of the devil's program. All this happens because many people are walking on the road of devils. The program of the devil tempts people with money, wealth, fame, position, power, beautiful women, and ease and comfort to intermarriage in family, nation and state, political party and religion, businesses, cultivation groups, and various organizations. As a result, these people are kept busy rushing about for all these matters. They would rack their brains and take great risks to achieve these purposes. For these purposes, they would shout their support, cause harm to others, and do damage to other life forms and the nature. People are walking on the road of devils when they struggle for their own interest, for their family's interest, for their nation's interest, for their country's interest, for their political party's interest, for their religion's interest, for their company's interest, and for their organization's interest, and when they each try to cheat the other by sheer cunning and falsehood and grab at each other's throat. Why should things fare like this? Why does not the greatest creator stop us? The principle goes like this. Unity of opposites is a law of the universe. Superior and inferior, up and down, bright and dark, leader and the masses, hell and heaven, higher order of life and lower order of life, man and ghost, man and other animals and plants, carnivores and herbivores. Otherwise, life cannot go on, and the great drama of the universe cannot be staged. It is just like the case of a man for whom eating and drinking form opposites with defecations. The opposites can be united and complement each other. In addition, there is a principle of the universe, namely the sum of positive energy and negative energy is zero. Therefore, everything must be symmetrical, and there must be balance between yin and yang and loss and gain. What one gets in and what one pays out should be orderly, and the power of angel should hold the power of devil in check. To be more specific, in order to survive, man should have animals and plants to provide for his existence. The life at the lower order must serve the life at higher order. Then who will be the man, and who will be the animals and plants? Some people will go to heaven, but who will go to hell to maintain a balance? There are leaders, but there must also be the masses. Thus, the devil's program is necessary. Without it, the universe will lose its balance. The survival of life cannot be guaranteed, and the whole universe will be listless and pale. Actually, the devil Satan is a deity, an archangel and chief angel, who is toiling to maintain the zero sum of positive energy and negative energy. Burdened with notoriety and bad name, he is serving the life of the whole universe. He must deliver many life forms to the lower order of life and lead many life forms to hell. Thus, when a person is walking on the road of devil, he is making his way to the lower order of life and the hell. The devil will not show any appreciation for this, but will say instead, "What an ignorant fool you are." Now let's see whether you have taken the road of the devil. If you have one of the following 18 items, then be careful, you are walking on the road of the devil. You are in marriage and family, rushing about for your own family. You are striving and struggling for your own country, nation, religion, political party, organization, or group. You are concentrating yourself on making money and worrying and rushing about to amass your wealth. You are racking your brain and sparing no effort to win a good fame or secure a high position for yourself. You are stealing, contending, or robbing, mugging, or killing, pilfering, cheating, corrupting, bribing, or accepting bribes, or requiting kindness with enmity. You are doing something in the secret which you are afraid of being discovered. You are bullying, oppressing, blackmailing, exploiting, maltreating, humiliating, or trampling on others. You break your word and do not keep your promise, always trying to find an excuse or reason to exculpate yourself from your fault or crime. You are eating things you are not supposed to eat, using things you have no right to use, and doing things you are not entitled to do. You are affronting or desecrating the greatest creator, or affronting or desecrating God and Buddha, or affronting or desecrating sages and saints, or affronting or desecrating ancestors, or affronting or desecrating president of the country, or affronting or desecrating your own parents, or affronting or desecrating others. You are threatening, abducting, or controlling others and restricting their freedom in the name of love or other excuses. You are propagating and publicizing incorrect outlooks on life, value, life, and the world. You are inciting or abetting others to plot a rebellion. You are spreading gossips and rumors to ruin the close and harmonious relations between others. You are jealous of others' joy and happiness, and you feel resentment at others' freedom and blessing. You are always envying, or complaining, or reprimanding, or hating, or detesting, or attacking, or hurting others. You are always making comparison with others, or prompting others to make comparisons. You are polluting the rivers, the land, and the air with chemical materials, waste water, and waste gases, or polluting others' spirit and soul with negative, passive, and pessimistic mood. If you have any one of the above 18 items, then you are walking on the road of devil. You should wake up and realize your mistakes and rein in at the brink of precipice before it is too late to repent. Where should I go after turning back from the cliff? Answer: walk on the road to heaven and follow the way of the greatest creator. 满足人生需要的道路. The ways which meet life's needs. Xiefeng. October 23rd, 2014. Translated by Transin and edited by Care. The American psychologist Abraham Maslow believed that human has 6 major needs: physiological, safety, love and belonging, self-esteem, self-actualization, and self-transcendence. To be specific, life needs food, water, air, sex, sleep, safety, resources, health, medical care, assurance of having a job, family affection, friendship, love, self-esteem, social status, confidence, a sense of achievement, morality, skills, creativity, and so on. Meanwhile, Maslow also argued that human needs are hierarchical and that they will be fulfilled at each level, from bottom up. That is to say, fulfilling the physiological needs comes first, then the safety needs, and so on, and the self-transcendence efforts can only be made after self-actualization. For me, Xiefeng, my life needs are as follows: a room with a bed, a desk and a chair, 3 suits of clothes and 2 pairs of shoes, 2 meals with plain tea and simple food each day, being surrounded by like-minded people who share the same resonance of consciousness, being busy every day, having a clean, orderly, and beautiful environment, sharing everything with everyone, doing everything willingly but nothing compulsorily, peace, harmony, warmth, health, realizing my dreams and ideals, understanding life and time and space, and knowing the destination ahead and the realm that life can reach. How does one realize this ideal of needs? Maslow listed them from the bottom up, but I do from the top down. I have found that in Tao, virtue, benevolence, righteousness, courtesy, wisdom, credibility, achievements, sorcery, and magical art. Only when there is Tao, everything else can be met. If we start from the bottom level and first pursue magical art, then one can never reach the realm of Tao because life is too short, and when we have fulfilled all our needs at the lower levels, we would have neither the time nor the energy to pursue Tao. Thus, we have to first clarify life's road ahead and the realm to which life wants to take us. Once this key issue is resolved, the others will readily be. I used to be obsessed with making money. I built my own company, and at one time I had 4 stores, a nightclub, a bar, a fast food restaurant, and also leased a dancing hall, a restaurant, and a barber shop. My annual net income reached hundreds of thousands UNRMB. Later, I miraculously survived a car accident and began to understand things differently. I found that people had unexpected good or bad fortune and that life is vulnerable. If you do not first understand life's value, purpose, and meaning, and the principles and mysteries of life, then no matter how you live, your life will be blind and you can never fulfill your life's needs. I then gave up my businesses and immersed myself into studying the meanings of life, and from there, I developed the theories of first fulfilling the top-level needs and to gradually fulfill the needs of the lower levels in a natural order. Today, I have fulfilled all the levels and have achieved my life's needs, though this would be extremely difficult for even a president or a billionaire to do. Now, what else do I need? I only need one thing, and to have fun. I do whatever is fun. The desire to enjoy the finest food, clothing, accommodation and travel, birth, senility, illness and death, fame and wealth, and leaving a lasting reputation are out of my mentality. Everyone who has communicated with me has benefited from me, so I think that becoming a guide to life and life is not only appropriate, but is also assumed. 无忧人生三大法宝 Three magic weapons for a carefree life. Xiefeng. February 18th, 2013. Translated by Shidai and edited by Care. When we are born on Earth, it is inevitable that we will develop many worries. Some of these worries will be for food, clothing, shelter, transportation, birth, aging, illness, and death. The worry about how to make our lives run smoothly and have wonderful futures. The worry about how to keep relatives and friends successful and safe. And the worry about how to fully enjoy love and sexual intimacy. Because of these worries, some of us will begin to walk on the way of the greatest creator in life, Chanuan. Although many of us might have little confidence in their futures and endure fear in their hearts. Therefore, I will show you 3 magic weapons to help you achieve a carefree life. These weapons will strengthen your faith and overcome your difficulties, help you cross your mountains and swamps, in order to arrive successfully in heaven. The first magic weapon is having firm faith in the greatest creator. For since the creation of the world, God's invisible qualities, his eternal power and divine nature, have been clearly seen, being understood from what has been made, so that men are without excuse. Romans 1 verse 20. We are created by the greatest creator, but how do we know this? I will present you with 3 examples. Every woman has breasts, but they do not provide milk until she gives birth. What does this example show? It shows that the greatest creator has designed this program, and he is looking after the newborn babies. Look at the hairs of our eyebrows, eyelashes, and armpits. Most of our hair can grow to unlimited lengths, but not those of our eyebrows, eyelashes, and armpits. Why? Why are our eyebrows arched and the eyelashes grown on the upper and lower edges of the eyelids? Why are the armpit hairs very soft? When figuring these questions out, we will know that the greatest creator has taken good care of us. Upon reaching the age of puberty, we will develop special feelings of attachment with members of the opposite sex, and when kissing and fondling, women's vaginas will become moist and prepare for lovemaking. If their vaginas remain dry, they would not be able to enjoy the pleasure of sexual love. This program is very complex, so what can we learn from it? We shall learn that sexual love is a precious gift bestowed by the greatest creator to human beings, and it fills our lives with infinite fascination and beauty. It is only when we become good at reading and understanding the book without words of nature that we will learn how well the greatest creator has taken care of human beings in every way and form. So we will know that we have been created by the greatest creator, and that the greatest creator is surely looking after us. It is only by living in accordance with what the greatest creator has designed for us that we will have no worries about our futures and definitely have a carefree life. The second magic weapon is believing in karma. Reap what you have sown. Those who do good are rewarded, and those who do wrong are punished. Good and evil will have their karmic retribution when their time comes. And when the time arrives, one will get all the rewards they deserve. Disasters and blessings have no entry gates of their own. They are summoned by people. The effects of good and evil are like shadows following their forms. Therefore, a joyous man speaks what is good, thinks what is good, and does what is good. Each day he does these three things, and in 3 years, heaven will bequeath to him good fortune. But an unlucky man is he who speaks what is evil, thinks what is evil, and does what is evil. Each day he does these three things, and in 3 years, heaven will strike him with misfortune. The cause and effect are perfectly matching. The mill of the greatest creator grinds slow but sure. If you want to know your past, look into your present conditions. If you want to know your future, look into your present actions. We need to believe in karma. When we believe in karma, we will no longer complain to heaven, earth, individuals, or society, and accept all the twists and turns in our lives quietly and peacefully. What is more is that when we understand the law of causality, we will have no worries that we will surely have beautiful pictures of life in the future as we pursue sincerity, kindness, beauty, love, faith, and honesty. We will have no worries that everything will treat us nicely when we treat them nicely and do no harm to nature, any living beings, any person, or to society. The third magic weapon is putting our best into everything that we do. Submit to the will of heaven, do what one can. Just put out our best efforts into whatever we do on each day. Treat relatives, friends, society, and nature with love from our hearts, and do our best in daily life. By doing so, we will have no regrets in our lives. As to whether our dreams come true or not, do not feel attached to the results, but let the greatest creator arrange all. Using a saw pulled by a rope in time, any block of wood, no matter how thick, can be sawed through, just as drops of water will wear away a stone. In the same way, those who cultivate Tao must constantly exert themselves in their explorations. Water flows naturally into channels, and the gourd, when it ripens, sheds its stalk naturally. Thus, the person who wishes to master Tao has only to persevere in self-cultivation, and they will eventually become accomplished. We will have no worries only if we do our best in everything. Having firm faith in the greatest creator, believing in karma, and giving our best in all that we do are three magic weapons to bring you a carefree life. If you have the three magic weapons, your life will be like, let the wind blow and the waves beat, better far than idly strolling in the courtyard. You will no longer have worries about food, clothing, shelter, transportation, birth, aging, illness, or death. You will have a very bright future and a carefree life. If you can keep this state in your lifetime, you will arrive in heaven when leaving the earth. 向全球征集新时代人类生活理念 Collecting new era life values from global citizens. Xiefeng, May 20th, 2014. Translated by Teng Xin, Song Long, and edited by Kair. In order to inherit the wisdom of the past saints and sages comprehensively and to absorb the precious thoughts of today's saints and sages, and to realize the dreams of the talented will be put to good use, and the whole world will be one family, no one would pocket anything found on the ground, and doors are not bolted at night, and everyone is joyful, happy, free, and blessed. Human beings can develop sustainably. The 800 Values for New Era Human Beings will begin its third revision. Every citizen on Earth can take part in this activity regardless of which religion, political party, country, nation, or ethnic background he or she belongs. Anyone interested, please selflessly devote your wisdom to the betterment of the entire human race, because as long as your thoughts are beneficial to the interests of all humanity, we will accept and compile them into the third version of the 800 Values for New Era Human Beings. Please note that we are calling for values, not views or beliefs. We are calling for life values, not market values, country values, religious values, values for political parties, etc. Values are the crystallization of wisdom and thoughts, but thoughts and wisdom are not values. The values we need are life principles to follow. Therefore, please condense your wisdom and thoughts into values which can be expressed concisely and succinctly, but with rich content, and use one sentence instead of two sentences if it is already clear enough. Please do not explain your values or present your reasoning with long texts. Please contribute your wisdom and values regarding these 8 aspects. How to achieve a harmonious coexistence among people, society, and nature. How to let everyone on earth have dignified, joyful, happy, free, and blessed lives. What values, modes, and phenomena in people's lives are ignorant and backward, and with what new ones should they be replaced? What kind of lives should we lead in order to resonate with the laws of nature and of human nature? What kind of belief system, moral system, and value system should we build? What is the meaning of civilization, and what kind of civilized principles and etiquette should we follow? The universe is infinite and creation is limitless. So toward what direction should we walk, and what kind of life level or condition should we pursue? What right values should human beings follow in all aspects of the fields of their production and lives? We will bring people into the highly civilized Life-Genuine era, and this will be a common objective for all human beings. We hope everyone on Earth will participate in it actively, and we look forward to the contributions of foresight and understanding and incisive values by the sages of this time. What we need is positive, optimistic, and very creative energy. Therefore, we will turn a deaf ear to all that is negative and pessimistic. For those values which are directive or educative, or sound like advice or guidance, unless you have done it yourself and have reached that standard, please do not bother us because we have no time to listen to moralizing. But if your values are correct, we will follow them immediately. The second home of Life-Genuine is a big international family, and this family leads a life completely according to the 800 values for new era human beings. As the life and production modes in the second home become more and more perfect, it will achieve a lever at which it will be able to change the fate of humans and will lead the world into a higher, more civilized level. Please be aware that many groups of people in the world are totally selfless and have dedicated their lives to the happiness of all people. These are the pioneers who are moving forward and are striving for the best. Please spread this article as widely as you can. 活人需要明白的八大道理. 8 Truths by Which to Lead a Life. Xiefeng. Edited by Kair. Living in this world, we need to understand why we do and how we should, or we will live an unclear and muddled life. For every road on the trip ahead, there must be a destination, and different ways of living will ultimately afford us different views and lead us to different destinations. As a messenger of the greatest creator, the incarnation of gods, Buddha, celestial beings, saints, and the guide for human spirits and souls, I propose the following 8 truths by which to live. Please examine and consider them, and choose whether they make sense and whether they can benefit you. Rivers have sources and trees have roots. People have parents and celestial beings have ancestors. Everything has its origin and all effects have their causes. Rivers will run dry without sources, trees will wither without roots, people will scatter without parents, and celestial beings will fall without ancestors. Therefore, in living a life, we have to connect our souls to their source to be clear and to gain eternity. The source of everything is the greatest creator, and we, our lives within our life, should always keep the greatest creator in mind and live in accordance with the will of the greatest creator. In this way, our life can reach a wonderful destination in the end. Life is a short journey of life in the mortal world which begins when we are born and ends when we die. You were there before you were born and will still be there after you die. Birth and death are only life phenomena, and not the beginning and end of life. So it is very important to learn from where you came and to where you are going. The mortal world is a transition between different levels and different types of life. Passengers traveling in all directions will transit through this mortal world and stay for periods of time, whether they will ultimately ascend or descend. Therefore, the mortal world is populated with all levels and all types of life. Gods, Buddha, celestial beings, saints, goblins, devils, ghosts, monsters, and demons all exist in the mortal world, and as such, anyone's life trip can be misdirected by only slight miscalculations. We must therefore sharpen our eyes and be weary of the negative influences in life. Everything in this world exists within the unity of opposites, and the result of it is always neutral. That is, the amount of positive and negative energy in the universe is always equal. What you have paid and what you have gained are always equal. This means that what one gets and what they give within a lifetime are equal. If you gain more, you must pay more. And if you pay more, you will gain more. If someone pays a lot in their life stage but gains little, then their extra payout will await them in the bank of heaven. Tao. But if one gains more than they pay in this life stage, then they will owe a debt which must be and can be paid off in many different ways, such as becoming a cow or a horse in the next life, or becoming a chicken or pig and being slaughtered and eaten, or working for others, or even falling into the lowest space of life and having to withstand great stress, pain, and hardship. Therefore, we should try our best to pay more and gain less in this stage of life, because no one can enjoy more than enough blessing, and they must know when to stop. We can become enlightened from nature. That is, each life needs to live to its fullest and live itself out. Only thusly can this world be colorful and wondrous. Therefore, everyone has to live out their own innate nature by living for their own well-being first. It is only when people live well that they can be beneficial to their loved ones and others. If they do not live for their own well-being, then they will bring endless pain and trouble to everyone and become burdens and loads. For instance, some parents live bitter lives and often cannot meet their basic life necessities such as birth, illness, retirement, and death, so they can never bring blessings to their children. We often hear parents say, "My child, I have suffered through a bitter life all for my child." This attitude is an excuse for their bad life because they want to transfer their pain to their children and make those children suffer guilty consciences for their parents' deprivation. Consequently, not only does the parent deprive themselves, but then they guilt-trip their child. This kind of outlook on life is incisively manifested by married couples when the husband and wife each believe that they have sacrificed for the other and that the other owes them. As a result, both suffer and neither lives out their Tathagata nature. In short, one has to live for their own sake and their own well-being, because anyone who lives for others will not only spoil their own life, but will also inflict heavy psychological burdens and spiritual bondage upon others. What is there for people to live for? It is to live for their innate natures, for their gifted natures, to live happy, joyful, free, and blessed lives, and to leave no regrets, remorse, resentment, or sorry at the end. To do this, one cannot live for power, wealth, fame, beauty, vanity, religion, political party, state, nationality, family, or others. They must not try to possess or control anything or anyone, but must accept them as they are and associate with others by following predestined relationships, to act in accordance with their natures, and to take advantage of opportunities as they arise. They must deliver their lives into the hands of the greatest creator through the arrangements of Tao. Everything physical is a game, but only the soul is true and worthy. Do not be too serious or persistent on anything. Go for it if it pleases and uplifts, but forget it if it hurts or degrades. People will die and fields will become lakes, and that which we are so serious and persistent about, or which troubles us now, will eventually vanish from our consciousnesses. Why bother? Everything in life runs in Tao. Everything is karma. The Lord is everywhere. You reap what you sow. Divine punishments, though slow, are always true with big meshes, letting nothing slip through. Therefore, we must lead honorable and upright lives which are centered on sincerity, kindness, beauty, love, faith, and honesty. No one should be stealthy or talk about spirits, deities, fortunes, or disasters. A good conscience knows no fear. Whatever one thinks, speaks, and does should be faithful to the earth, the sky, others, and society, and to their own consciences. In this way, their life journey will become smoother and more comfortable as time goes on. Their life's future will also be smoother and more beautiful. Just do ordinary, simple things within the capacity of your lifetime. Be content to be ordinary and do not pursue the extraordinary. Settle on doing more small things and avoid attempting big things. Learn how to enjoy the unknowingly quiet life and avoid being the target of the known and the noisy. 1,000 miles can be covered by constant small steps, and rivers and seas are filled where small streams gather. We should always direct our efforts toward laying this kind of foundation. In this way, with persistence over time, the most ideal life will appear, and the most beautiful dreams will come true. These 8 life truths are only my perceptions and are only fit for a small minority. Accordingly, the majority of people are unable to accept them. If you think they make sense, then use them as references. If you think they do not make sense, then find your own ways. We do not discuss, debate, or argue. 用哲学辩证法指导人生. Life Guide with Philosophical Dialectics. Xiefeng. Translated by Transin and edited by Care. Philosophy is the abstract theory about the nature of the universe and its developmental law, as well as the relationship between thinking and being. Dialectics is the theory of the unity of opposites, the contradictory movements of things, and the universal connections and characteristics of them. In terms of properties, dialectics is part of and resides within the category of philosophy. It is like consciousness and thinking. Thinking is part of and resides within the category of consciousness. Speaking metaphorically, philosophy is the human body and dialectics are its eyes. Philosophy deals with the broad sense, while dialectics deals with the narrow sense. Philosophy is general while dialectics is specific. It is my opinion that philosophy is science and should be understood and reasoned with real evidence, without which it would not be logical, and that would in turn lead to wrong conclusions. For instance, both the absolute idealism and absolute materialism sever the unity between the two sides of the contradiction, such as religion, which emphasizes more about the idealism and ignores the value and meaning of real existence, and pragmatism, which stresses more about existence itself, but less about its causes. The theory system of Life-Genuine is mainly based on real evidence, although I have previously expounded more about the teachings and instructions of gods, Buddha, celestial beings, and saints in human history as the core, which is somewhat empty for the faithless, and not only lack operability, but also lack the cognition of the scientific nature of the spatial-temporal universe, life, and life. It is like Lao Tzu's descriptions of Tao, an image of what existed before God. The Tao that can be discussed is not absolute Tao, evasive, elusive, yet latent within it are forms. Dark and dim, yet latent within it is the life force, too specious to be understood by anyone who is not extremely wise. How do we guide our lives with philosophical dialectics? Buddha has no settled rules. Buddha's rules always vary according to the situation. Keep the main and change the others according to the situation. To be selfless is to achieve self. To be free from ego is to achieve ego. To own nothing is to own everything. And so on, which I summed up conforms to dialectics in the philosophical sense and can guide life. Now we will talk in detail about how to understand the world and how to guide our lives with philosophical dialectics. First, let us see the universal law of the unity of opposites in a philosophical sense. This law is to say that all things in the universe consist of pro and con factors which are opposite, incompatible, and contradictory as fire and water. But paradoxically, it is precisely this organic unity of contradictions that makes the world complex and colorful. Specifically, positive balance is negative, light balance is dark, true balance is false, good balance is evil, yin balance is yang, male balance is female, up balance is down, the rise balance is the fall, death balance is life, the tangible balance is the intangible, and so on. How can this analysis be significant to guide our lives? The law of the unity of opposites tells us that there is the physical world, but also the spiritual, heaven, but also hell, material structure, but also the non-material, and the tangible human, but also the intangible God. As such, our consciousness and thinking are not limited to our mortal lives, and will not be limited to the material world that we see. Our field of knowledge can expand to unlimited space and time, to the afterlife, to the non-material world which we can neither see nor hear from our current place. What a remarkable leap of faith this is! Thus, as human beings, we should not only value the present, but also consider the future, not only pay attention to reality, but also consider nothingness, not only cherish life, but also pay attention to the afterlife. Let us now look at the law of mutual change of quality and quantity in a dialectic sense. This law says that any change of quality must be based on an accumulation of quantity. When the accumulation of a quantity becomes saturated and passes a critical point, its quality or qualities will change. This law has a measurable value and significance in guiding our lives. From the law of the unity of opposites, we understand that while there are humans, there must be gods. Since there are gods, the existence of celestial beings and Buddha become reasonable. Humans, gods, Buddha, and celestial beings are life of different natures. People have human nature, gods have divine nature, celestial beings have theirs, and Buddha has Buddhist nature. If human nature is to be sublime to divine nature, there must be an accumulation of quantity, and the accumulation must develop towards the divine nature. 1,000 miles cannot be covered without an accumulation of steps, and there will be no rivers or seas without the integration of small streams. If one gradually accumulates a divine nature, then in accordance with the law of mutual change of quality and quantity, they will eventually become godlike. Based on the dialectic law of the negation of negation, we can conclude that new things must conquer old things. New things refers to those which are in line with objective law and posse's strong vitality and broad developmental prospects. Old things are those that run counter to objective law and will die out. To determine whether a thing is new or old is to look at its nature, not its form or appearance. For example, many new religions have sprung up like mushrooms with new forms and manifestations, but their natures are variations fermented in old nests, and they are not new at all. Now let us look at the new methods, new measures, and new channels, with the aim of earning money across the globe, such as the transformation from traditional manufacturing industries to service and infotech industries, which appear new when seen from their form and appearance, but are still, essentially, ways to make money. Thus, they are not new because the nature of their profit motive has remained the same. As in the Yangtze River, the waves behind ride on the ones before. New generations excel the old. This is a reflection and portrayal of the law of the negation of negation. From the phenomenon of the global rise of the divorce rate and the growing number of singles, we can surmise a law such that the family as a traditional production and life mode will be gradually replaced with a new form of production and life mode. This is an objective law which will not change by people's subjective wills and will not stop advancing just because people resent it or rebel against it. This new mode is replacing the traditional production and life mode, is a new thing, and no force can prevent its development and growth once it happens. However, the growth and development of new things is bound to suffer and will have to overcome arduous and tortuous processes. When you invest yourself into the development of new things, you must be psychologically and spiritually prepared to suffer difficult times, or the new things will eliminate you. The prospects of old things are dark, but the prospects of new things are bright. So the farther you walk on the way of old things, the narrower it becomes, but the farther you walk on the way of new things, the wider it becomes. It rises here but sets there. It increases here but decreases there. Two extremes are connected but will go in different directions when pushed too far. The rise is sudden, but so is the fall. Ill gain brings ill fate. Karma is the shadow following a body. Extreme joy begets sorrow. Out of the extreme misfortune comes fortune. All these conform to dialectics, so we have to remain alert and have confidence all the while. After we understand the universal law that positive and negative energies always balance out, we can deal with life affairs skillfully and easily. We know that when we constantly give and contribute rather than take and consume, we will accumulate many treasures, but where? They are reserved in the afterlife or the non-material world. Who will enjoy these treasures? No one can, other than the one who has accumulated them. Otherwise, the universal law that positive and negative energy always balance out would be violated. As it is a universal law, it is a necessary procedure. When you pay, you must receive. When you receive, you must pay. If you have given but have not received in the mortal world, then you will undoubtedly receive in your next life or in heaven. Otherwise, the universe would be unfair and untrue. Everything has its destiny. The total energy in the universe is constant. This is consistent with the law of the conservation of energy and of matter. In terms of philosophy, yin cannot exist without yang, and yang cannot grow without yin. Yin and yang are the law and order of the changes of all things, Huangdi Neijing. As we know from the water on the earth, regardless of the surging rivers brought on by rainstorms or the increase of snow cover on mountaintop, its total volume remains constant. It is destiny. This is to say that the quantity of life in the universe is constant. It increases here but decreases there. It rises here but falls there. Well then, where does the increase in human population come from? Are new lives born out of thin air? People who have explored and studied anything about reincarnation know that human reincarnation happens several days before birth. Therefore, an embryo or fetus does not contain life. It can only be called life when a reincarnated soul enters into it. Thus, we know that a new life will only be born when an old one passes on. There is no life without death and no death without life. That is it. In this case, We know that the increased life on the earth must have come from somewhere. If a new life is born, then an old one must have ended. If we analyze carefully, we may wonder about the many animals on the earth that have died. Where have they gone? Have they become human? Where will their lives go if the earth has a mass extinction in the future? Please refer to 36-dimensional space for the answers. Philosophical dialectics can guide our lives. We have just discussed how to guide our lives by philosophy from the perspective of philosophy. This enlightenment is only the tip of the iceberg. You may draw general conclusions about other cases from specific ones. I hope that each one of you will lead a smart life and that you will have wonderful life prospects. 人生是一场幻象. Life is but an illusion. 写评. Translated by Treasure and edited by Care. Illusions are phenomena that appear in dreams, fantasies, and phantasms. With further inferences, all phenomena that arise quickly, remain briefly, and then disappear equally quickly can also be thought of as illusions. Mirages are illusions, as are dreams, soap bubble patterns, and even thoughts at the end of the day or when we are bored will form them. It can be inferred that flashes and pans are illusions, a large number of cells, microbes, and fungi are illusions. Many photos online are illusions, computer games are illusions, and movies and TV shows are illusions, too. Dreams are illusions because the dream world lasts for a short time. If one dreams for 100 years continuously, would that be an illusion or reality? Of course, it would still be a dream because the moment that the person wakes up, the dream would disappear. So how could the dream not be an illusion? It can be concluded that no matter how long a phenomenon exists, as long as it disappears completely at some point, it too must be an illusion. Thus, it is possible to conclude that life is an illusion because even someone who lives for 100 years will eventually disappear altogether. So why would that be different? Having dreamed throughout the night, we wake up in the morning, and no matter how much we twisted and turned during our dreams, we no longer care about anything that happened in them because after all, they were fantasies, dreams, and illusions. A dream will not affect our mood or state of mind too much. Here is the question. Since we have deduced that life is an illusion, is it necessary to be sad for our twists and turns in life? Is it necessary to be anxious about things in our life? Is it necessary to struggle hard for things and hunger to reach goals? Is it necessary to make others behave according to our own wills? When the illusion of life disappears, will it not float away as a dream? When the earth we live on disappears completely in the infinite universe and all of humanity disappears as an illusion, what about a single person? To analyze and judge this question, I want to wake you from your dream to let you not be a human being, but rather a celestial being. When you wake up, will you still go into your dream to be nostalgic for something or to fight for someone in your dreams? Of course not, because it was an illusion, a fantasy. Well, life is also an illusion and a fantasy. So shall we be racked by people and things in this illusion? Of course not. Who remembers their grandparents' grandparents? Not to mention the fact that the memories of our grandparents' grandparents are already blurred even in the incomplete memories of our grandparents. Who will remember us 100 years after we die? We take for granted that we have importance in the present, but that is a complete illusion. Many great historical figures have died. They thought that they were important back then, but what about now? The earth goes on turning and humans go on reproducing. The footsteps of civilization never stop marching forward. So it is unnecessary to be too sad when people around us die because death is a normal phenomenon and everyone will die, including ourselves. So never be overly anxious, fearful, or sorry because it is all an illusion. Nobody can control your dream. Who can even control their own life? It is delusional to think that if you do something, you will get something. That is impossible. You cannot secure yourself against all risks and dangers. How can people control your life? You cannot wear shoes when you are supposed to be barefoot, and you cannot stay on the mountain when you are supposed to leave. Cold shoulders cannot be expected when you are thriving and on the way up. That every cloud has its silver lining may be forgotten in despair and adversity. Therefore, never force yourself to learn, suppress yourself to work, or force yourself to do what you dislike and which is against your own better judgment. No matter how successful you are, outstanding or a billionaire, or how glorious your family reputation has been flowing down through many generations, when you wake up, all will have been a dream. Affection and love tactics are the most difficult traps for people to escape. They are the most terrible traps in life. Ask the mortal world what love is. It drives one mad to death. Now think about it. Life is but an illusion. After waking up, everything will be nothing. So is it necessary to be bogged down on affection and love? It might actually be better to live as a beau, a dandy. What people fear most is losing what they own and are most attached to their property, their power and status, their reputation, and of course their most beloved lover. However, they are not at all necessary. What really belongs to you and cannot escape is yours, but if it is not yours, you cannot keep it. Any way one looks at life, it is still an illusion which can be shattered and vanish in a moment. So why make yourself suffer for it? Why not enjoy a natural and unrestrained dream? Has anyone in history been so intelligent and so powerful that they could control everything? Not one. Everyone is acting in a play. They are playing roles, following scripts. If anyone could control all things with their wisdom and power, their fortunes would be as boundless as the East China Sea, and they would live a very happy, healthy, and eternal life forever. Have there been any? Not one. This proves that man is only a grain of sand in a sandstorm, a drop of water in the sea, and that nothing can really be controlled by anyone. So why not just follow predestined relationships and take things as they come? Life will be easier and more natural. People expend a lot of time and effort on their health and appearance, yet regardless of their daily exercise and nutritious eating habits, the sick are still sick and the short-lived still come to untimely ends. No matter how much paint and powder one applies to their face or how much plastic surgery they undergo, wrinkles still creep onto the forehead and cheeks as time passes, and signs of aging become more and more visible every day. These changes cannot be resisted. So why try to fight them when you know that you cannot? Life is too short. Fiddle with this today, fiddle with that tomorrow, and remain confused. You will still get old, fade away, and die. It is a bad deal to live in fantasies, but an even worse one is to indulge them. Do you worry? What do you worry about? You were worried when you were dreaming. What about when you woke up? My point is that there is no need to worry about anything because all of life is ultimately only a dream. There are no real scenarios because life will end. Will all the worry not be gone with the wind? Enjoy the present. Do not worry about tomorrow or the next day. Everyone's life has been predetermined by their destiny, their script. Worry is useless, so why persist with this fantasy, waste your recreation time, and ruin your relaxed mood? Your state of mind is different when you are asleep than when you are awake. Sleeping people lead befuddled lives in their dream worlds of obsession, worry, anxiety, sorrow, and fear. However, fully awake people know that all is but an illusion, so they have neither strong bliss nor intense grief, but are just pleasant, relaxed, and calm. Who are these people? Celestial beings, of course. Within the universe, everything is an illusion except for the greatest creator. People live in illusions because all lives are illusions. In this sense, illusions are reality. Illusions are stages of life. People live one dream after another and live a large number of dreams throughout their lives because lives consist of dreams. Although people live in illusions today, this is really the entirety of human life. Never expect to lead a real life without it being an illusion. Even the 1,000-year world, the 10,000-year world, and the celestial islands continent of the Elysium world are all illusions. The differences are that those illusions are more beautiful and splendid and go on much longer. It is very clear that everything is an illusion, but most people are too stubborn, obstinate, and perverse to see them as such and are convinced that they are living in reality. When one awakens from their dreams, their soap bubbles will burst and they will say goodbye to their dream, but they will do it unwillingly and with disappointment and frustration. Knowing that life is an illusion, how does one lead a wonderful life? Whatever it is that makes you happy, joyful, free, and blessed, just do it. Follow your best judgment, have fun, then play. If something bothers you but you need to do it, make a perfunctory effort. No fun. See you later. Better yet, never see you again. 第二家园走不复古文明道路. The second home does not take the road of reverting to ancient civilizations. Xiefeng. People have created splendid cultures and invented innumerable production tools and living products. Inventions, Innovations and scientific developments have relieved us from backward and primitive production and living modes. Except for those gifts bestowed by nature, all that we enjoy today comes from those advancements. If civilization abandoned science and technology, then it would not be an advancement, but a regression. The way of the greatest creator is the way of nature. Scientific inventions and technological advancements have not gone against nature, but some have been used in irrational ways. Achievements of technological inventions and progress have gone against the ways of nature in many aspects, but the fault is not theirs. Rather, it is from people's misuse out of selfishness and greed. Cutting vegetables is a natural use for a knife, but using it to cut woods or to kill people is a misuse. The problem lies not with the knife, but rather with the person who misuses it. It would be extremely illogical to blame the knife, rather than to look into the false consciousness of the person who behaves irrationally. Would it be better to use toilet paper or clods of soil to wipe one's buttock? Of course, toilet paper is better, at least more hygienic. If a toilet paper manufacturer cuts a large amount of woods and then spills wastewater into rivers, it would not be the fault of the toilet paper, but that of the manufacturer who has ignored the result of wrong behavior by only pursuing economic profit. Some people are under the mistaken belief that the production and life mode of the second home will lead to a reversion to primitive conditions, but returning to nature does not include doing such things as eating raw animal flesh and drinking its blood, or wearing the skins and furs of animals. Rather, it means that we should live according to the will of the greatest creator, and by the principle that people need to coexist with nature harmoniously. At least we can say that people should not advance at the price of natural destruction, but according to the fundamental principle of sustainability. What we have created is a brand new civilization which will not only inherit all the positive achievements of scientific and technological development, but will also advance humanity into a more developed stage of civilization. It would not be possible for us to revert to ancient practices because although we would absorb wisdom from ancient cultures, we would not be limited by them. We would learn from their essence, but would not revert to them. Our thoughts should neither be confined to ancient ones, nor make us repeat the mistakes of our ancestors. Following in their footsteps, we need to initiate a new future and a new way of living which will avoid the recurring tracks of previous civilizations which have been destroyed completely. Religions should not stop progress, politics should not be short-sighted, economies should not destroy nature, and societies should not be reluctant to advance forward. The biggest crisis facing humanity is that of the soul. All others pale in comparison. When this crisis is eliminated, all others will disappear automatically. Do not define the second home by using concepts of old production and life modes, and do not assume that the second home will be the same as any other living mode in human history. We are walking on a new road which aligns completely with the will of the greatest creator rather than human will. It will bring happy, joyous, blessed, and free lives to people, and even allow them to evolve into celestials. I am the spiritual guide of humanity. I will lead people to an unprecedented, amazing future and even take some to heaven. This is not a boast. As long as you follow me, you will experience it step by step. 生命绿洲模式将解决人类面临的21个难题. The mode of the new oasis for life will solve 21 difficulties that mankind is facing. Xiefeng, June 27, 2020. Translated by Treasure and edited by Care. Whether we call it Utopia, New Eden Garden, Kingdom of the Greatest Creator, or Xiefeng-style communism, Life Genuine's new mode of production and life in the new oasis for life will solve these 21 problems that have been handed to us over thousands of years of human history. It will free women from their daily trivial chores forever. The elderly will lead their happiest lives in old age, whether they have children and receive pensions or not. The phenomenon of orphans will disappear forever. All children will lead lives full of love and care and will be well educated. The phenomena of people remaining unattached and lonely will disappear forever. Domestic violence will disappear completely. The conflicts among religions and belief systems will end forever. Political parties will have no purpose, so competitions among them will disappear. All people will be able to travel throughout the world freely and without restrictions. Military expenditures will be reduced to zero because there will be no militaries. Border and land disputes between states will no longer exist. Regional and ethnic conflicts will no longer exist and peace will abound everywhere. Drug abuse and gambling will disappear completely. Official corruption will disappear completely, as officials will have neither need nor ways to corrupt. No wealth disparities will exist, as everyone will have everything yet own nothing. Courts, lawyers, and legal systems will die out gradually as they will no longer be needed. Criminal activities will be reduced by 3/4 and security will be greatly enhanced. The population will stabilize without sharp increase and decrease and will be in balance with planetary resources. Atmospheric pollution as well as that in all water and on the earth will disappear. Extinction of species will end and many lost ones will return. Climatic disasters will no longer occur and distinct seasons with consistent climate will become normal. At least half of the people will sublimate into angels, bodhisattvas, celestial beings, and Buddhas. Do not take this as a joke or myth or consider it an armchair strategy. It has been the firm evidence of Life-Echanuan's theories and the model of the new oasis for life which have been existing and developing for 10 years. It is the ideal that mankind can fully realize. Whether you wish or not, and believe it or not, mankind has been bound to and is entering into the Life-Echanuan era. Everything is running according to procedure. 明明巧安排平凡度人生. Life arranged ingeniously, the ordinary life. Xiefeng. March 27, 2019. Translated by Qinyu and edited by Care. Times change, lives reincarnate with their ups and downs, and human reproduction flourishes. Time and tides annihilate emperors, generals, and ministers. Green grass invades countless palaces and pavilions. The strong disappear in an instant with their great achievements. Heroes who had once shed blood and tears are nowhere to be found. Huge amounts of wealth perish quickly like dreams. Even the rich starve to death in the wilderness. In front of desolate and dilapidated empty buildings was once bumper-to-bumper traffic. The winners were frustrated. The powerful were desolate. Fires were extinguished into ashes regardless of how fierce they might have been. Overwhelming storms returned to calmness. In life, it does not matter whether you win or lose. In the world, it does not matter whether you are right or wrong, gaining or losing. Everything is destined. Everything is a constant. We suffer from our own actions. We harvest what we sow. We are responsible for our wins and losses. The greatest creator never has special mercy for anyone and never intentionally abandons anyone. Those who exploited others will be exploited. Those who hurt others will be hurt exactly the same, not more and not less. Evil rages in the guise of justice but will be contained eventually. Self-interest is cheating and bluffing in the name of public good, but it will eventually be recalled. Advantages taken will surely be lost, and every extra gain will become a loss. Tao is never absent. Angels never leave. The devil never slackens. Prosperity ends in a big mess. Prosperous ages end in ruins. Lavish banquets end. That which flourishes dies. Phenomena will not last, but essence never changes. There are tens of thousands of ways to die. If one does not know how they will die or where they will be in 100 years, then what is the use of being busy? Why are you in a hurry? Clouds are rolling and unfolding. Flowers are blooming and falling. Rushing passers-by cannot hold anything. Lonely ghosts cannot find places in which to settle down. What are you fighting for? What annoys you? It is all a waste of energy, a waste of the meaning of life. Useless usage has great use. Power, status, reputation, money, real estate, and houses are all passing clouds, and the winner of them must be captured by the devil. The states of realm, virtue, quality, etiquette, gratitude, contentment, and courtesy are all the claims of life, so one will be blessed by heaven if one possesses them. The sum of all positive and negative energy of the universe is zero. If you gain something here, you will lose something there. Looking at heaven, looking at hell, looking at the world, everything is clear. Joy is sorrow, gain is loss, suffering is happiness, frugality is abundance. You might be eager to get what you want, but when your desire is met, misfortune will follow. You might be eager to achieve success, but when you succeed, you will suffer from it. Virtuous individuals, please listen to me. Avoid the urban noise and return to the rural countryside. Life is like a chess game, and each one is different. We cannot see it through. We cannot explore it all. Why not raise a few chickens and ducks or go to watch the full moon in a field? Pickles and steamed buns warm the stomach and ragged clothes are like honey to the heart. The chaos of the world is not without its source. Do not go back and forth hurriedly and quarreling. It is hard to tell who is right and who is wrong when all are jollifications of knacks. A big fire will burn everything down. A flood will wash everything away. The pandemic came quietly, and man-made misfortunes are everywhere. Living today, we do not know tomorrow's situation. Something superfluous might cost your life, so why rush yourself and worry? The world is like an unsatisfactory tight dragnet, but everything is arranged ingeniously. Every detail is clear, not a word or act is wrong. Do not hate anyone, do not complain about things happening in the world. Results are what matter. Find the benevolence of the divine across 3 lifetimes. Evil things in the world are made by good people, and supremely good deeds are made by evil people. Good intentions always create trouble, and slander waits beside honor and favor. Misery. Happiness is to be found by its side. Happiness. Misery lurks beneath it. Disaster is a blessing in disguise. It is better to cultivate in the countryside, to be an ordinary person, not to be famous, not to fight for profit, but to light the sacred lamp in your heart and watch the world change. Relying on other people, one will exhaust themselves on them. So why not rely on the Tao of the greatest creator? Everyone has a life trajectory that cannot be changed, so why bother to worry about others? Parents' suffering cannot be replaced by their children's, and the children's sins cannot be negated by their parents, let alone by others. You might think that you are doing something for the good of others, but how do you know that you are not working against Tao and disturbing their trajectories? You cannot give money to others without having money in your pockets. How can you guide others to live well if you do not live well? Depend on your own experiences and feelings, and do not listen to others' moral preachings. No harm in life is greater than that which affection can do when it is deep and hurts very severely. Sentient beings are trapped in affection nets until they die in mazes of affection. If you cast your affection onto someone, then their burden will become yours. So why not direct your affection toward idyllic, green mountains and blue rivers? Attaching affection to flowers, birds, insects, and fish is more beneficial than doing so to people. How can you wash your feet while still standing in mud? How can you sever your worldly ties while still living in the world? Waves never end. Repaying debts by borrowing will keep you in debt forever. We also need to repay our debts that we borrowed from nature. The only way to eradicate debt is by giving alms formlessly. Our minds should not abide in form, sound, smell, taste, touch, or dharma, but should abide nowhere. This mind abiding nowhere is our true mind, which is nature, Buddha, angels, and celestials. Looking throughout the world, the best place for life is the new oasis for life. 审视一下自己是不是赌徒. Check if you are a gambler. Xiefeng, May 22nd, 2020. Translated by Qin Yu and edited by Care. Do you gamble? Check this out. What is a gambler? It is anyone who wants to win rich rewards by betting their money, youth, future, and life on uncertain things which they self-identify as certainty. Gamblers lose everything that they begin with, including the clothes on their backs. Eventually, are there any who earn good lives by gambling? Casino dealers can do very well, but they are not really gambling because the games are all stacked in their favor, but most people who participate in gambling will lose and will end up with crushing losses. The truth is simple and clear, but people still want to gamble. All are gambling. I studied carefully and discovered the surprising phenomenon that almost everyone gambles, with marriage being the biggest gamble in life. You cannot be sure of its outcome. You can never fully understand the other person's personality, outlook, temperament, character, interests, and other factors, but you are betting your whole youth and your entire life on them. You expect to be happy, joyous, harmonious, and blessed, and expect to remain in love with each other for your lifetime. But then what happens? It is not necessary to analyze the results. The eventual result of all gambling is that the gamblers all lose. Since marriage is a big gamble, the result is of course tragic. Participating in religion and becoming a believer is also gambling. You base your destiny and future by betting on the religious rituals, ideas, practices, and beliefs that you firmly believe are correct. But is your religion the absolute truth? Almost every religion claims that theirs is the only correct belief, but this is only its own wishful thinking. Can it withstand the challenges of facts, science, logic, and spiritual perception? Regarding the three major religions, Christianity, Islam, and Buddhism, they are each contradictory in terms of life and death, so which one is right? After death, are there reincarnations, or merely lying quietly and waiting unconsciously for a final judgment and possible resurrection?